Hello everyone, welcome to back my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. General Hospital spoilers claim Dr. Portia Robinson, Brooke Care, is no stranger to secrets, but her latest one may be the most dangerous yet, with Congressman Drew Quartermaine, Cameron Matheson, applying relentless pressure, blackmailing her into becoming an asset in his waterfront espionage scheme. Portia is running out of options. Desperate to protect herself and her marriage to Curtis Ashford, Donald Turner, she's turned to the one man who might be able to help. But trusting Rick Hurst, could be the biggest mistake she ever makes. If Rick has his way, her confession could set off a chain to bring Heather Weber reaction that brings one of Port Charles' most dangerous women back to town. Heather Weber, Allie Mills. Drew has been playing dirty, and Portia is his latest target. After discovering damaging information that could cost Portia her medical license, and possibly her freedom, Drew didn't hesitate to use it as leverage. He wants control, and he's willing to manipulate anyone to get it. Portia has spent her life building her career and protecting her family, but now everything she's worked for is hanging by a thread. Caught between Drew's threats and the fear of losing Curtis, Portia knew she needed help. But instead of confiding in her husband, she made a move that could backfire spectacularly. Turning to Rick. Portia is no fool. She knows that if Drew follows through on his threats, she could lose everything. So, she reached out to Rick, a man with a history of walking the fine line between legal genius and outright corruption. Rick has built a career out of twisting the law to serve his own needs, and Portia is hoping he can find a way to neutralize Drew's leverage before it's too late. But can she really trust him? Rick has never been one to help out of the goodness of his heart, and if Portia's confession presents an opportunity for him to regain power in Port Charles, he won't hesitate to take full advantage. And if he does, it could have far-reaching consequences, including setting the stage for Heather's return. If Rick sees an opportunity to exploit Portia's situation, there's no telling how far he'll go. His past is riddled with underhanded dealings, and he could use Portia's secrets to rebuild his own influence in town. But what if he needs a wild card to truly tip the scales in his favor? Enter Heather. She has been biding her time, pretending to be at peace with leaving Port Charles behind as she moved away with her son. But before she left, she whispered a chilling promise to her grandson, Beatty Ace Cassadine, Jay and Joey Clay. She would be back. If Rick's maneuvering sets off a chain reaction, it might be the perfect excuse for Heather to make good on that vow. Do you see her turning up in town soon? Share your thoughts with us, and keep checking back for more GH news and spoilers. Port Charles might not be ready for Heather's return, but if she does come back, no one, not Portia, Rick, or even Drew, will be safe from the storm she brings with her. The long-awaited confession. Portia's secret revealing the ever-turbulent world of General Hospital. The people of Port Charles have long dealt with their fair share of secrets, betrayals, and unexpected twists. However, one recent revelation has sent shockwaves through the town, especially when it comes to Portia Robinson, Brooke Care. Portia, a respected doctor and a woman of poise, has always kept a few things to herself, but what she's hiding could alter the fate of Port Charles forever. The moment everyone's been waiting for is finally upon us. Portia is about to come clean, and the person she's choosing to confess to is none other than Rick Hurst. Rick, a seasoned attorney with a past filled with scandal, is no stranger to drama. His tangled history with the town's most influential families, especially the Webers, has always kept him in the center of some of the most shocking developments. And this confession from Portia could very well bring Heather Weber, Robin Matson, back into the picture, setting off a chain of events that will leave Port Charles reeling. As Portia sits down with Rick, the air will be thick with tension. She has always been a woman of integrity, but there is a haunting weight behind her words. What could she have done that necessitates this confession? Is it a matter of medical ethics, a scandalous affair, or perhaps something darker that ties her to the Weber family? Portia's darkest secret, the Weber connection. Portia's confession will reveal a deep and troubling connection to the Weber family. While Portia has been a vital part of the community, few know the full extent of her history with the Webers. Rick, as a longtime player in Port Charles, is well aware of the Webers' tangled past, And Portia's confession will add another layer to that already murky history. It all starts with Portia's brief affair with Dr. Jeff Weber, Richard Dean Anderson, Elizabeth Weber's, Rebecca Herbst, father. Years ago, Portia and Jeff shared a brief but intense relationship that has remained hidden from the public eye. At the time, Portia was still married, and Jeff was deeply involved with his own complicated family issues. However, the affair led to a pregnancy, one that Portia never spoke of, even to the man involved. While Portia's life moved forward, her past with Jeff lingered in the shadows. The child she carried was eventually put up for adoption, and Portia's secret was buried deep within her. But now, with the world of Port Charles constantly shifting, this secret is poised to resurface. Portia's confession to Rick will expose not only the affair, but also the child that Jeff never knew existed. A child who could very well be alive and living in Port Charles today. As Rick listens to Portia's story, he is left stunned. He knows that this secret could be the one thing that draws Heather Weber back into the fold. Heather, a woman with a dark and twisted history, has always had a way of worming her way into the lives of those around her. The revelation of a lost child could be the perfect catalyst to pull her out of the shadows once more. Heather Weber's return. What does she want? The possibility of Heather Weber returning to Port Charles has always loomed like a dark cloud. And now that Portia's confession has set things into motion, it seems inevitable. Heather, a woman with a penchant for manipulation and violence, could easily find herself wrapped up in the fallout of Portia's confession. It's important to remember that Heather Weber is not someone who sits idly by when there's a potential opportunity for chaos. Over the years, Heather has caused countless problems for the Weber family, and her return could be a game-changer for everyone involved. Her obsession with her family, particularly her son Stephen Lars Weber, Scott Reeves, has driven many of her actions in the past. The idea that she could have another child, one that she may not even know about, would send her into a frenzy. Heather is nothing if not driven by the desire for control, and the prospect of a new family member to manipulate could be exactly what she's been waiting for. What will Heather's reaction be when she learns of Portia's confession? Could this lost child be the key to Heather's plans for power and revenge in Port Charles? As the town braces for her return, one thing is certain. Heather's presence will bring mayhem, especially for Elizabeth Weber, who has always been at the center of Heather's obsession. Heather has a long history of causing trouble in Port Charles. She has orchestrated multiple schemes, including kidnapping her own son, manipulating various families, and even committing murder. Her unpredictable nature and cunning intelligence have made her one of the most dangerous individuals to ever grace the town. So when Portia's confession brings Heather back to town, it's bound to create ripples that will affect every single resident of Port Charles. Portia's dilemma. The fallout of her confession. While Portia may have felt that revealing her secret to Rick would bring her some relief, she soon realizes that she's opened a Pandora's box. Not only will Heather Weber be coming back to town, but the fallout from Portia's confession could also put her family in jeopardy. Curtis Ashford, Donald Turner, Portia's loving husband, is a man of integrity, and learning the full extent of Portia's past may change the way he sees her. Curtis has always been a loyal and supportive partner, but the idea that Portia has kept such a huge secret from him could shake the very foundation of their relationship. Will Curtis be able to forgive Portia for withholding such a significant truth? And more importantly, how will this affect their future as a couple? Portia's daughter, Trina Robinson, Tabiana Ali, is also caught in the web of this secret. Trina has always been protective of her mother, and the revelation that Portia was involved with someone from the Weber family could be a shock. Trina's relationship with Elizabeth Weber has been complicated, and the news of a potential sibling, one that may be tied to Heather Weber, could further complicate matters. Trina could find herself torn between loyalty to her mother and the reality of what this new family dynamic means for her. As Portia grapples with the consequences of her actions, she will face the tough decision of whether to confront Heather head-on or try to keep the truth buried. But with Heather's return to Port Charles becoming more imminent, there's no escaping the chaos that is about to unfold. Rick Lansing's role. A moral dilemma. Rick Lansing's role in all of this is significant. As the attorney for many of Port Charles' most influential families, Rick is often caught between his own sense of morality and the demands of his clients. With Portia's confession in hand, Rick is now in a unique position to potentially help her navigate the fallout from her secret. However, Rick's history with the Weber family makes this a tricky situation. Rick has never been a stranger to playing both sides of a moral fence. He's done things in the past that would make most people's jaws drop, and his connection to the Weber family, especially Elizabeth, adds a layer of personal interest to the situation. While Rick has always had a complicated relationship with his former wife, Alexis Davis, Nancy Lee Gran, his allegiance to his family runs deep, and this latest revelation could force him to choose between his loyalty to Portia and his history with the Webers. Will Rick become an ally to Portia in her time of need, or will his connection to the Weber family push him to help Heather instead? Whatever decision Rick makes, it's clear that he will play a pivotal role in shaping the future of Portia and her family. The road ahead. What's next for Port Charles? The revelations set in motion by Portia's confession are just the beginning. The return of Heather Weber will undoubtedly send shockwaves through Port Charles, and the fallout from these secrets will be felt by all. As alliances shift, relationships are tested, and the Weber family's dark legacy rears its head once more, Port Charles will never be the same. What will happen when Portia's secret is fully exposed to the world? How will the residents of Port Charles react to the reappearance of one of the most dangerous figures in their history? One thing is certain: the drama, intrigue, and suspense are only just beginning. As the days ahead unfold, Portia will be forced to confront her past head-on, and the choices she makes will shape the future of her family and the entire town. Stay tuned to General Hospital as this gripping storyline continues to unravel. Thanks for watching this video, and please subscribe our GH News 24 YouTube channel for more update news.